Now, gardening. If you are a beginner, if you've been doing it from time to time, or if you're an expert, there's always something you can learn. There's always something new you can try in this current day economy. With the food prices are soaring. I know I just went to the big box store and I was looking for some grapes. $10. I'm not paying $10, but what I can do is grow my own, know my own, and I can get with other gardeners in my community, ones that I have enlisted and found, and we can share. I also know some of my neighbors that are growing and raising chickens, and so we can do a swap. We can do a trade. We can buy eggs. We can buy meat. This is what we need to do in this time and in this season. Some of the things I also want you to know. If you have never gardened, trust me, it can be easy and it can be hard. If you are in my city, my community, first thing I would like for you to do, if you're doing in-ground gardening, I want you to get some soil samples from the area that you're going to garden in. Now, once you get that tested, that will tell you what are the minerals or what are the agents that are growing in your soil. If it is not garden ready, there are some other things you can do to get it garden ready. Some people suggest that you plant sunflowers. I personally don't know how long it takes and how many sunflowers you need in order to purify or start the cleaning process of the area if there are some contaminants in there, for you to make sure that you get it clean enough so that you can use those the soil from that particular location. Now, if that's not an option, don't worry, because as I mentioned before, you can always get untreated wood and you can start to build, as you will see in the video, some of your own smaller size garden beds. If you are just starting now, you want to start thinking about the region you live in, what fruits or vegetables you really like to eat, because one thing you don't want to do is to waste food. We can't afford it. We don't want to. And if you are to grow something, you discover you really don't like it, please donate it. Please set you up like a box or a stand, just like they have the little mini libraries. Do something like that, because there's always someone in your community, in your area, at some of your local places that you hang out in, that would be willing to take that fruit or produce off your hand. That's not grow and throw. That's grow and give. All right, so that's another little slogan. Some of the things you may want to do. So if you want to not trust the soil, or it may have come back and it's not organic, you can build your smaller garden bed and you can line it. What I mean, you can put in a liner that will break down over time. It may take some years, but it'll break down back into that particular ground that you're planting in. And so it's kind of like it'll feed and feed and feed not only what you're growing, but it also the area that it's sitting on within your box, because your box is shallow. It's hollow at the bottom. That's why you have your liner, and it'll break down over time. And so, after so many years, you'll replace that liner out, or hopefully by the end, your gardening area will be clean enough for you to garden from there. I will show you also some pictures of that, where I occupied some space by my home. I built in a couple of I believe it's like 4x4 little garden beds that I was just able to post into the lawn and then line it and start putting transplants and seeds, just so I can have extra area and extra food to give to my seniors and to also for my family members. Very simple. I'll show you that also. So one of the things is the big box store, because if I slip and say their name, they're not sponsoring, they're not paying me, but I do search around for organic soil and compost. I am a part of a program here in my city that we can get a yard of compost within our annual payment for, not would say dues, but our signing up and being part of the organization. With that, I also use my own. I add in compostable items into my soil. I make sure that I have grass clippings that are embedded in there, some leaves, some other enriching things. I've soaked eggshells with banana peels and made up my own little concoctions. There are some things that you can buy to start, making sure that you can combine in soil that you've been using for a while to give it back nutrients and make it healthy for you to continue your growing cycle. Now, there are other things that are recommended, like you want to rotate your growing areas if you are growing in ground, but that's to stick with if you're building your own little box. I recommend you build your own if you have the capability, the skillmanship, or you can make it a family project. There are some cedar and some other garden beds and kits available. A little pricey for me. I just like knowing my own, so I make that a project, and I'll do that on my own or with the family or friends. Once you do that, you want to add in, if you're not purchasing, and I love every year, I refresh my soil every year. I get the nutrients it needs. I also buy in more compost, organic compost, and I mix it in. I just like starting fresh because I know those nutrients are there. You can buy things that make sure that your soil that you're using, if it's been used before for other growing, that it is healthy enough to sustain what you're trying to grow. So in your garden bed, you line it, because it is going to be sitting on the surface of your grass or dirt if you remove the grass or weeds, whatever, from that area. And you want to, if you're using the soil that you already had, you want to give it some nourishment, right? Some nutrients. You want to add in leaves, grass clippings. You may want to add in untreated, like cardboard, banana peels, eggshells, things that are not dairy or meat, because eventually they're going to break down and it's going to add those nutrients that are needed on top, mixing it and adding your layers of soil into the mixture. Now, you want to start, for very beginners, you want to start off with things you and your family actually are going to eat. If you're in a cold region, it's called your brassica family. Those are cold crops. We're not at the warm crops yet, especially in Michigan, because it could snow tomorrow. It can be 80 degrees today and end up being 30 degrees at night and end up being a snowstorm tomorrow. So you want to play it safe at least until end of May or June or after the last frost. And so some of the suggestions are for beginners. Kale. Now, kale is very nutritional. It is vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K. It's your calcium, your fiber, and antioxidants. It supports immunity. It's bone health, heart health, and reduces inflammation. And some recipes, very simple, easy. You can do kale chips. What you want to do for kale chips, you want to clean them, you want to dry them. I do a variety of kale chips by dehydrating them. You can dehydrate them in your oven on one of the lowest settings with your oven door popped open. You can also look for other ways to dehydrate those and make, the chips are good. I will caution you, you need a lot of kale if you want to make a substantial amount of kale chips, but they are excellent. I've done barbecue, salt and pepper, salt and vinegar, plain, lemon, pepper. They're addictive. So I do grow a lot of kale. So there's dino kale, there is the regular kale, there's Russian kale, which is a reddish green. It's a lot of variety of kales out there. But you do want to look at growing kales. You can make kale salads. You can also cook kale if you're cooking your collard greens. That means you can steam them, you can fry them, you can saute them. So kale is it, and you can put kale in your smoothie. So there's a lot of things you can do with kale. Another one you may be interested in doing is collard greens. Now, if you people like me, we love our collard greens. We love them during the summer. We love them during the winter. We love collard greens, cornbread. Some people eat it with meat. Some people eat it with tomatoes and onions. Collard greens, yes, you want to participate in growing some collard greens. Now, you can start collards from seeds, which I do seeds and I do transplants just because I like seeing it grow. I like the garden. That is my own personal space. I sing in my garden. I talk in my garden. I exchange and just I be one with the garden. It's my opportunity to meditate and to pray and to talk to God and for Him to talk to me. So collard greens is a number one staple. You definitely need some collard greens. They do well in the heat. They do well when it's cool, and they do well close to winter time. So you definitely want to try some collard greens. Again, you can saute them, you can fry them, you can boil them, you can use them as a wrap without bread. You can cook them with other vegetables. This collard greens, you could do a myriad of things with them. So you definitely want to try some collards. Next, you have your cabbage. There's red cabbage. There is the green cabbage. The red cabbage to me is a little sweeter. You can cook that with onions. You can have that in the salad. You can make it with a coleslaw. It's a lot of things you can do with the red or the green cabbage. Fry the cabbage. You can make cabbage wraps. It's a bunch of stuff that you can do with the cabbage. Please grow you some cabbage. Now, there are things called cabbage worms. Also, when you start to garden, you want to see what grows well together. What plants like marigolds or onions or some other high herbs that have a high scent, the peppermints and all of this. You want to keep rodents away. You want to keep the worms away, slugs away, animals away. You need to also do a little research and see what grows well together and what are some some agents that would keep other things from attacking what you've grown. Up until last year, I used to have a good relationship with the birds and the rabbits and everything else to get into the yard. But I don't know, they just have become very disrespectful. Because last year they were eating everything. So this year, I got a treat for them. And I'm going to have my garden in full this year without sharing it so they can see how disrespectful the rodents, the bugs, the rabbits, and everything else that was getting into and eating up my vegetable and the humans. So, carrots, wonderful. You can put some in now in the cold. You can add some in the summer. You can add some more at the end. And carrots will grow all the way up through the winter because they're root vegetables. And so they'll be growing underground. You may forget about them, but the top part will be very green. I do know some people, they use the greenery from the carrots as well as the carrot to make broth with. They use it to make the vegetable, I can't think of it right now, but they use it if they're going to do soups and stuff, and they really want to ascertain all the nutrients, because we know that the greenery from all the greens are going to give high protein, or I'm sorry, high vitamin producing benefits. So I didn't give you what the benefits of collards were, and so you have calcium, folate, vitamin A, C, K, and fiber. It strengthens bones, support digestion, and helps regulate blood pressure. You also have the cabbage, what I mentioned is vitamin C, fiber, potassium, antioxidants, improves gut health, which when you get a certain age, you really need that. Supports immunity, yes, especially for the young folks that have all of these irritants that are entering into their immune systems, and it may help reduce cancer risk. Now, we're getting back on that cancer, so that's very important to know. You're looking at the carrots, so it's a beta carotene, vitamin A, potassium, and fiber. You have support eye health, which we all know. Let me tell you something. If you do eat a lot of carrots, you do get a little orangey looking. So, but the carrot juice is good. You can also mix that with other juices. Excellent source. It has a sweetness. If you need that sweetness with it, drinking it straight is good. Making your own carrot juice, which I suggest you do, is also an immune function. And then garlic. Now they suggest, because some cultures already do it, that's why you smell some people, they smell like garlic, is to have a clove every single day. Some people suggest you have it in the morning. I did mention those garlic seeds, they work wonders. So if you want to do that and not the big clove, because it can be a little spicy for you, you can do a garlic spread. You can have garlic in every, I make sauces and I put garlic in there. Mostly everything I cook, if I'm making my greens, if I'm making a whole plethora of things, I use garlic because I know the benefits of it. So when you're looking at garlic, it's sulfuric or sulfur compounds, magnesium, is vitamin B6. It's natural antibacteria, support health, heart health, and immune strengthening. So that's your garlic. If you are just now gardening for your basket family, the cold weather crops, those are at least 5 things you want to immediately put into the ground. Again, you can do box gardening, which are called gardening beds, or you can do direct gardening. And I'll come back to you with some more because it's time for the garden season. It's time for the garden season. It's time for the garden season. I'll see you soon. It's What the Cook Reads. Bye for now.